The revised article bears the name of the impact of the Montelukas black box warning on reports of adverse events of pediatric mental health. In order to carry out this article, an analysis was carried out of the committed suicides that had been, and it was found that many were committed with adverse event to mental health that were before and the suicide occurred. In addition to the FDA ongoing research through the Sentinel database, the comparison of depressive symptoms in hospitalized Montelukast users compared to inhaled corticosteroid users is analyzed. Other animal studies reveal that sodium montelukast had the ability to cross the hematoencephalic barrier. Adverse events of pre-adolescent children and adolescents who took montelukast sodium from 1 March 2018 to 3 March 2020. And from 4 March 2020 to 28 February 2022 were reviewed using the FDA adverse event notification system. And the aim was to determine where reports of adverse events for mental health were influenced by the placement of a warning box. The adverse reactions were grouped into the 8 categories considered to be related to mental health by the interpretation of the Sentinel report by the research team. Chi-square tests were used to compare time periods and reports of mental health categories. The reason why the article was made is because in March 2020 the FDA used the warning box aim was to strengthen the existing warning about the risk of adverse events for mental health associated with the events for the mental health associated with the prescription of sodium montelukast. And the aim of this study was to determine whether the placement of the warning box affected the number of adverse mental health events among pre-adolescents and adolescents when compared the amount of reports 2 years before and 2 years after warning. Among the highlights is that in 2008, 10 years after the initial approval of montelukast, the FDA published a statement that revealed that there was ongoing research into the possible association between montelukast sodium and behavior change, mood, suicidal tendencies, from suicidal thoughts, and behavior to suicide. Following the FDA communication, there was a noticeable increase in reports in the database of FDA adverse events reporting system, with an increase of 18 times in adverse event in 2008 compared to the previous year. Symptoms and aggregation disorders in pre-adolescents were the most category of adverse events related to mental health. Into the pre and post-traumatic period, anxiety was the most category but in adolescents, while suicidal behavior increased into the group of adolescents between the pre and post period. And the placement by the FDA of a black warning box on the adverse mental health effects associated with Montelukas at all ages provided doctor with an opportunity to make better informed clinical decisions. There was a general decline in pre-adolescent reports and a mixed trend among adolescents in which five out of eight observed mental health groups had increased after placing the warning box. Uh, Although this may be due to several factors, such as better and more informed decisions making by suppliers, as well more cautious prescription in the younger, in addition to raising awareness and visibility about the possible adverse effects on mental health that these drugs can bring. I um, I chose the article because besides interesting, I consider it to be of great importance because it talk about a drug that is widely used to treat asthma to treatment to asthma that according to the World Health Organization is the most common chronic disease observed in children and is characterized by inflammation and swelling of the small airways, which affects about 262 million persons. Montelukast sodium is an oral leukotriene receptor agonist that acts by blocking the potent D4 leukotriene receptor and is approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration or FDA for the treatment of the asthma in children aged only 12 months and allergy treatment in children's age only 6 months. Has mentioned above, this is widely used drugs, so any adverse event should be studied to prevent impacts in the peoples.